Carol, to say this show has been a success is almost an understatement. I understand you're breaking records.
40-year record at the magnificent, legendary State Fair Music Hall.
Gotta
Isn't
make
that
it.
marvelous?
That's terrific.
I'm glad to do that for Tom Hughes. I think Tom Hughes is one of the finest impresarios. Do you know him?
Oh, sure, I know. Everybody knows Tom Hughes.
Oh, and his staff.
Fine man.
I've known him through the years. See, I helped build that State Fair Music Hall.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. Well, we were here with Gentlemen Prefer Blondes in 1951, 52, in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Hughes was there then.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great institution.
I mean, I knew him then. It was Mr. Meeker running in the
Charles
camp.
Meeker.
Yes.
I worked for him, too.
Did you?
Fine man.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That's a great staff there.
Yeah,
I'm crazy about that.
We were talking just a moment. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to tell you, they have an innovation. You see, because you spoke of breaking that record,
Yeah.
all records. We've got 2 extra matinees we have to put in, and that is on Friday and Saturday.
Tomorrow and Saturday.
Tomorrow and Saturday.
Yeah.
And the thing, that's right, we just rehearse all the time. We never leave the theater. So, see, we're just opening with Sugar Babies here in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But Friday is the 5 o'clock matinee, so people can come right from their office straight into the matinee where it's cool and nice.
You
and
said the magic word, cool. That'll
cool.
get them there.
Isn't it the truth? And Saturday we've got the 2 o'clock, 2:30 matinee, whatever the regular name. But 2 extra matinees they had to throw in. I'm so happy for Tom Hughes.
That's exciting.
Yes, besides us.
Show has obviously been a great success, but I was amazed to hear you tell me that you're still making changes almost daily.
Sugar Babies has been a great big hit on Broadway. It's the biggest, fattest hit that there is. Mickey Rooney and
Sure.
Ann Miller. No other show comes near it. But they couldn't possibly duplicate Mickey Rooney and Ann Miller. That would be, there just aren't 2 other people like them. So they went another way entirely and got Bobby Morse and me. And it isn't, they don't use the same sketches. I mean, I do one of Mickey's songs, Bobby does one of Ann's, I do what...
But it's been adapted to your style, to Carol Channing and to Bobby Morse.
Well, it's a burlesque show, and when burlesque, they have access to sketches and burlesque material back to Abraham Lincoln's time. And burlesque used to be family entertainment. So Abraham Lincoln used to love it. He would go to burlesque shows all the time. It meant just what the word says. It meant burlesque. It meant satire, spoofing something going on at the time. Well, this is almost Americana history is what it is. But then in 1930, the
Minsky got a hold of it,
and put all the filthy jokes in, and they got to playing for derelicts and winos and poor nude girls standing there freezing to death on stage and all that. And it killed burlesque. It just went down, down, down. But burlesque, before the Minskys got a hold of it, was family entertainment. And that's what we've got. So we've got, I'm up to my eyeballs in chimps, and in, we have this chimpanzee act, which is marvelous. And the doves, they have doves.
And you're throwing knives, and you're doing all
how did
sorts
you
of...
know?
Well, I know. I know.
You saw it?
Yes, I've seen.
Poor Bobby Morse, I throw knives at him. The first, we broke it in here in Dallas. It was our opening night, and I was scared to death to throw those knives at him. He just stood there like a soldier and let me throw.
He trusts you, Carol.
Yes, yeah, and also
Blind faith or
he
something.
doesn't want to lose the audience too. He wants his laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you're making these revisions all along.
Yes.
As you go along.
That's right. We're fixing, because that was our very first time. And still, it's good enough so the Dallas folks enjoyed it enough to break the 40-year record.
You're opening up burlesque in many areas to younger people who aren't familiar with burlesque. What do they say? What do they think about it? Have you had a chance to have any contact with them? I know you've been working.
Yes. They say, it's funny, but it rings familiar. There's something about it that's authentic. We know this is American history. We just feel it. You sense it. Like if people who never saw, say, they do a tribute to Sally Rand. People who never saw Sally Rand know that there was such a wonderful thing with those fans, those blue fans and all. People who never saw Sophie Tucker. We have Sophie in the era in World War I, 1919, and people who never saw Sophie Tucker, I've asked them and I say, what does she look like to you, never having seen her? She's an extreme, definite character. She's a type. She's a kind of person, and they recognize her.
It's terrific too, that you're bringing her to life to so many people who may not have ever seen her before.
I feel like a sarcophagus, and all of a sudden I come to life, you know?
Yeah.
And I get to do her, and it's a silver with all the curves. It's when she was attractive and young. She insisted in her, but I knew Sophie. And George Burns told me that actually it's true, Sophie was a very attractive woman when she was younger. Then she ate too many knishes and too much delicatessen food.
Well, we all have that problem sometimes.
Maybe so. And so then she got funnier and funnier as time went on, but when she was young, she was a straight singer, and
I didn't realize
yeah,
that.
and people were in love with her. Yes, but then she got funnier and funnier, and the strange thing was the funnier she got, the more of an audience she got. I mean, she
Isn't
really
that
became big. By the time she was 85 years old, she was at her peak.
Great.
Isn't that interesting?
That is.
It's like George Burns.
You mentioned, yeah, George Burns. Do you have, he's loving this, isn't he? I mean,
I just got off the phone with him. He just called me. I sent him a cassette of the show. I mean, I turned on my little cassette in the wings, and I sent it to him. And he heard the opening where we say, George Burns and Leon Arrow, Willie Howard, Fanny Bryce, Al Jolson, Sophie Tucker, Eddie Foy, and we've heard of each routine. And George says, I like that top billing you gave me. You put me ahead of everybody. And then later I say, George Burns tells me you're nothing till you've been in burlesque. Well, here I am. Oh, it's really a burlesque.
and I bet he would love to be up there on stage with you.
He is in spirit. He really is. He calls every night. He has another suggestion. He wrote me some new Sophie Tucker jokes. He really, of course, we have, see, this is where we're fortunate. We have producers, two producers, who are creative producers, Harry Rigby and Terry Allen Kramer. And they believe in doing what Flo Ziegfeld did. Flo Ziegfeld had his first big Ziegfeld Follies that was a big hit was with Eddie Cantor. And so he wanted a national company while it was still a hit on Broadway, and he got Fanny Bryce and sent her out with a national company and changed everything for a female comic. Well, they want to be creative that way and change everything for Bobby Morse and for me.
Yeah.
And we have nothing to do with Ann Miller or Mickey Rooney.
Oh, that's exciting.
And
though.
it is exciting.
It
They're
is.
creating it for us. See, they have access to material back to Abraham Lincoln's time, and they only chose what was right for Mickey and Ann. Now they're choosing what's right for Bobby and me, which is an honor, I think.
Sure,
I mean,
it
They
is.
just do whatever we do best.
Carol, who's the biggest influence in your life, whether it be professional or personal, or maybe it's one and the same?
I guess my father.
Yeah, I started to suggest that.
You talk to a girl, if a girl liked her father at all, you get her started on her father, she can't stop.
He was a Christian Science lecturer. He was an author.
Yes,
so many
and
things
we used
me.
he'd go all over the world, and he'd go to big towns, small towns, and all that as a Christian Science lecturer. But the important, took me to Lubbock, Texas, and to Tyler, and we went to all the little towns, Ada, Oklahoma.
Oh, you remember them all? You're talking in my territory now. I grew up not far from Ada.
Did you?
Yeah, in southeast Oklahoma.
The folks in Ada, Oklahoma are very nice. After Dad, we'd go to church, and then Daddy'd deliver his lecture in the afternoon, and they'd take us home with them. And they gave us, I'll never forget Ada, Oklahoma, they gave us cold hominy grits in balls. Cold hominy, not grits, hominy.
The whole
The
big
ball.
kernels.
Yeah, cooked and then cold in a salad.
Oh, delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, you know about that.
Sure.
You had that in Ada?
And Hugo, that's not far from Ada.
Hugo.
Yeah, that's what most people say. Hugo. Oh.
What should it be? Just you?
No, it is Hugo, but they usually say like Hugo, and what's understood is, where's that?
Well, Daddy lectured in London, Sydney,
I know.
Hong Kong.
Did you go with him a lot of times?
A lot of
You got to
times,
travel.
and it's the funniest thing. Here I am going all over the world again, and no matter where I go, I stand on this great, huge auditorium stage, like the Kiel Auditorium in St. Louis, or in Hong Kong I stood on it, or in Sydney, Australia, and people say, in Sydney, they say, do you realize that you're standing right where your father's feet were standing when he
Isn't
delivered a
that
Christian
something?
Science lecture here?
They remember.
Yes, and I was standing there in rehearsal thinking, how am I going to reach these people? How am I going to do it? You know, in Oklahoma City, they had where Vanita Cravens is the impresario, they have an auditorium there that held 7,500 people at one time. Now they've cut it down to 5,000. But it was 7, and I stood there and thought, how am I going to reach these people? And somebody said to me, you know you're standing right where your father stood? And I looked and I thought, well, Daddy, if you could reach them, I can do it. You know, I wish everybody had a father that went just ahead of them wherever they go.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes, because you know then if he can do it, I've got his genes in me, and everybody tells me I'm just George Channing in drag anyway. So I figure, all right, if he could do it, I can do it. And you get out there with some semblance of confidence.
Yeah, well, obviously it's been nice to have someone like your father building these bridges for you all over the world, but in your case, I don't think you would have needed it.
Oh, don't you really? No, really,
No, I
it
don't.
helps. It helps a lot.
I'm sure it does. Carol,
really
I got to
does.
break away. What a pleasure it has been to meet you and talk with you, and I'm so thrilled for you and the success of this show, but I don't know what
Thank
we would
you.
have expected but that.
We are too. We're just thrilled. We're very grateful to Dallas. We're going to come back as fast as we can.
We can't wait. You go from here to St. Louis?
St. Louis.
But in the meantime, you got a couple of matinees we want to mention again, one on Friday, tomorrow.
Friday, they threw them in special
Yeah, and then
at
on-
5 o'clock. It's an odd hour,
Yeah, it
but
is.
maybe that you can go right from work and then maybe have dinner afterwards. Oh, you can have dinner there at the
Yeah,
theater.
oh, great place there, yes.
That's right.
And then again on Saturday afternoon, if you
Yes.
can't make that
And
one.
then Saturday night.
We look forward to the next time you're through.
Oh,
We're
Michael.
glad to have you back.
Nice to talk with you.
Okay.